This time, on Cruising with the 4Bs, we ask, why is that cruise ship order book for the British cruise market empty?
Thing that's really interesting right now in the cruise industry is that the UK cruise market currently has a completely blank order book when it comes to new ships. So in this video, we're going to look at why that is and also when we think we might see new ships joining the fleets. The cruise lines we're looking at today, are you ready, are P&O, Cunard, Marella, Olsen and Ambassador, all cruise lines that are based for the British market. But first, let's rewind and take a look at the last 10 years. 2015, Britannia was a new build for P&O Cruises. 2016 was the start of the expansion for Marella Discovery, formerly Splendor of the Seas. 17 was Marella Discovery 2, formerly Legend of the Seas. Marella Explorer joined in 18, formerly Mein Schiff. 2019 was Marella Explorer 2, formerly, you guessed it, Mein Schiff 2. 2020, Iona arrived for P&O Cruises. That was a new build, but didn't start until 2021. 2 new ships for Fred Olsen. Due to COVID, there was no introductions in 2021, but 22, sister ship to Iona, we had Avia. Ambassador arrived on the scene in 2022 as well. Ambition arrived in 2023 for Ambassador. Marella Voyager arrived in that year as well, and 2024 was the Queen and Maiden. We're on board. Renaissance arrived in 2025, serving the French and British markets for Ambassador. As you can see, most years we've had 1 or 2 ships entering the UK cruise market. So we have one big question today: why are there no currently new ships on order? First, let's take a look at P&O Cruises. If you look at their ships since 2000, we had Aurora in 2000, Arcadia 2005, Ventura 08, 10 Azura, Britannia 15, Iona 2020, Avia 2022. If you average it out, P&O have introduced a new ship roughly every 3.7 years. So now with 4 years on from Avia, why no announcement? Firstly, COVID hit the cruise industry incredibly hard, and building a cruise ship takes around 3 to 4 years from announcement to delivery. Carnival Corporation, who own P&O, simply weren't in a position financially to start ordering ships straight after the pandemic. But things have changed quite a bit, I can tell you. Carnival has actually recovered very strongly financially with record revenues and profits in the last couple of years and billions of dollars debt already paid down since the pandemic. However, even though Carnival is now doing much better financially, new ships are still limited by shipyard space. At the moment, Carnival Corporation appears to be prioritizing Carnival Cruise Line, which is their biggest and most profitable brand. From 2027 onwards, Carnival Cruise Line is receiving multiple ships, including the new Ace-class ships. That means brands like P&O, Princess, Holland America, and Cunard are effectively waiting their turn in the shipyard queue. There's also Ada, Carnival's German cruise line, which has already had ships planned for around 2030. So, question, could one of these ships be switched to P&O? Personally, I think that's unlikely, as these ships are already heavily marketed for their own brands. Because of that, my prediction is the earliest we'll see a new P&O ship is around 2031. Another possibility, though, is a ship transfer from another Carnival brand. We've seen this before with ships like Adonia, which moved between Princess and P&O. There's even been rumours about an island Princess. Although that ship is over 20 years old, it wouldn't exactly be a huge step forward. So that's a maybe for me, but probably not before 2029. A longer term possibility worth mentioning. One day, P&O Cruises UK could potentially evolve into something like Carnival UK, similar to how P&O Australia was eventually absorbed into Carnival Cruise Line. Now, I think that's unlikely anytime soon because P&O still has a very strong brand in the UK cruise market. But cruise companies do sometimes simplify their brands over time, so it's something that could potentially happen 2030s or beyond.
Let's take a look at Carnival's sister brand, Cunard.
Cunard ships are quite unique, as you know. But interesting, the design of some of these ships share platforms with ships from Holland America, Queen Anne, which is also Carnival Corporation. Historically, Cunard tends to introduce a new ship every 8 to 10 years. For example, Queen Mary 2004, Victoria 7, 10 was Elizabeth, 2024 Queen Anne. So based on that pattern, the next Cunard ship is probably not likely until 2030s mid. A new ship, and I don't think they will be taking a ship from another cruise line.
If you enjoy cruise content, it's the subscribe button to help us out and help this channel keep making videos. Then press that like. From the 4Bs, it's a thank you as we take a look at Marella Cruises and what the future holds.
Marella is quite different from the other cruise line because most of the passengers fly to their cruise, usually to the Mediterranean or Caribbean, and their cruises are all-inclusive. Their fleet is also entirely made up of second-hand ships, mainly from Celebrity Cruises or Mein Schiff. Many of their ships are now around 25 to 30 years old. The interesting thing though is Marella is actually performing very well financially right now. In fact, in 2025, the strongest financial performance in 30 years, with profits rising and ships sailing at around 99% occupancy. Across the wider TUI cruise business, including TUI Cruises, profits have also been growing strongly, with cruise earnings rising sufficiently thanks to strong demand and high occupancy. So the demand is there. Now, TUI actually did plan to order 2 new ships from Marella around 2031 and 32, but these orders were later shifted to Mein Schiff based in Germany. So unfortunately, no new builds from Marella anytime soon. But Marella could still add ships from other cruise lines. Their obvious place to look is Celebrity Cruises, because Royal Caribbean Group owns 50% of shares in Marella. Some of the older Celebrity ships include in service Millennium 2000, Infinity, Summit and Constellation from 2002. So I think there's a strong chance that we could see one of these ships move to Marella before 2030.
The newest of the British brands, it's Ambassador Cruise Line.
Ambassador specialises in no-fly cruises, if you didn't know, mainly from the UK and mostly aimed at the over 50s market, although they're branching into the Caribbean. Ambience was built in 91, that arrived first. Ambition 1999, Renaissance joined last year for the French and British market. Ambassador operates on a much smaller financial scale than the big cruise corporations, so ordering a brand new ship which can cost 700 million, wow, is extremely unlikely. And strategy clearly been maintaining second-hand ships, leaving other cruise line. Ambassador have said that they would like to grow to 5 ships by around 2028. So let's have a prediction. I reckon 1 ship by 2028, possibly another by 2030. And interesting, P&O ships like P&O, Aurora and Arcadia are perfect candidates if they leave the P&O cruise line. What do you reckon? Let us know below. Would that fit nicely?
Let's take a look at Fred Olsen.
Has built ships in the past, but their recent strategy has been buying ships from other cruise lines. Let's take a look. Borealis, formerly Rotterdam from Holland America. Bolette, formerly Amsterdam, again from Holland America. The fleet now consists of Balmoral, Borealis and Bolette. So I think we can rule out a new build. I don't think they have the money for a new build. However, I do think we might see another ship added before 2030. The most obvious candidates, again, could be from Holland America, particularly their 2 oldest ships, and bear with me, Volendam and Zaandam. Both around the same size as their existing ships. They're both around 25 to 6 years old, perfectly for Fred Olsen. And again, could we have Aurora and Arcadia? Please do let us know. I think they would fit, again, in the Fred fleet perfectly.
Please let us know what you think down below and press on the screen right now for a fabulous 4Bs video.